as it fulfills its role as the lead agency in implementing AB 32. I thank the members who are here. There are many more members than simply the members of the Natural Resources Committee. I think that reflects the seriousness of the issue and the urgency with which we look at the situation in the airborne. I am disappointed that the governor and the governor's staff have refused our invitation to send Dan Dunmoyer and Susan Kennedy, the people directly connected with the incident of last week, to testify. Instead, we will have some other individuals testifying from Cal EPA. We will hear their testimony as a courtesy, but we're asking them to keep their remarks to the issue at hand, the integrity of the California Air Resources Board and its ability to do its job without interference from the executive branch. Last year, after months of negotiation, the legislature passed and the governor signed AB 32. The bill clearly laid out the goal to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in California to the levels of 1990 by 2020. The bill, which was carefully negotiated, also clearly laid out responsibilities, naming the ARB, the California Air Resources Board, as the lead agency charged with laying out a strategy and program for accomplishing the goals. Last week, the independence of the Air Resources Board came into question as the governor or the governor's office fired Dr. Robert Sawyer, a respected scientist and professor at UC Berkeley, as chair of the California Air Resources Board. This was followed by the resignation under pressure of Catherine Witherspoon, the staff director of the Air Resources Board. These actions have called into question the ability of the ARB to do its job as directed by law, its ability to use its best judgment and scientific information and data, with its members free to vote as their judgment indicates, not being subject to intimidation or threat of removal from their positions by the governor or the governor's office. The Assembly Speaker was the principal author of AB 32. Many of us here were proud co-authors of that bill. We all recognize, as does the governor, that global warming is one of the great challenges of our time: economic, environmental, scientific, and intellectual. How we meet this challenge will determine whether we have a livable world to leave our children. It will require changes in the way we live and the way we invest and spend our money. The whole world is watching California right now to see if we will have the courage and the integrity to make the decisions that are needed and make the real changes that can save our children's lives. We're going to hear first from the Speaker of the Assembly, Fabian Nunez, one of the principal authors of AB 32. Then we will hear from Dr. Robert Sawyer and Catherine Witherspoon, and then from Dan Skopik and Eileen Tuck, who have been delegated to speak from the administration. I'm going to ask that we hear the entire testimony before there are comments or questions from members of the committee and members of the legislature. And after that, I will call on everyone who wishes to ask questions. This is one of the most important hearings we'll be having this year. There is no law more important than AB 32. There is no moral, ethical, and imperative before this legislature that is greater than getting it right and making sure we can meet the goals. Mr. Speaker.